Doing something a little bit different today. We are on the road to McDonald's where I'm going to be purchasing a Big Mac. I'm taking the Big Mac home with me and we're going to make a full Big Mac meal at home, but on a budget. But it's not just going to be a standard Big Mac. We're going to have a Big Mac, fries, and a strawberry milkshake because that is my go-to order at McDonald's.
No, what can I get for you?
Could I just get a medium Big Mac meal with a strawberry milkshake, please? £7.19 that cost me. So I'm just going to recreate it in the cheapest way possible by giving you guys the actual price per portion rather than for the entirety of the ingredients. Hiya. Thank you very much. Cheers. Nice hot fries straight from the fryer. Weirdly not salted. I swear McDonald's haven't been salting their fries much anymore. Now, I'm not going to eat any of this just yet, but here is our Big Mac. I'm going to make these patties to this exact size and weight. A couple of gherkins with our Big Mac sauce and a lot of shredded lettuce, as you can see. This middle bun is going to be the interesting part. I think I'm going to have to take the bottom of a normal bun and cut a bit of it off, and then obviously we get it all toasted. Even more gherkins. Oh wow, okay, so we've got a slice of cheese and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more gherkins. I tell you now, it's so good. This is going to be one of the hardest things to recreate, but I have my ideas as to how I'm going to do it. Although I had a potato at home and I really wanted to make them properly, so I'll let past Sam talk you through how we're going to make those French fries. Thanks, future Sam. This cost me 24p. Now, if we're talking about McDonald's French fries, I believe they are soaked in a brine, giving them that nice softness and also helping them get extra crispy. So we're going to make our brine, then we're going to cut these up, pop it in. And we start with a bowl. Nice and easy. We're going to put some water in here. 3 tablespoons of salt. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. We're going to do about 1/3 of a cup of sugar in here. Now, sugar is necessary because it helps the potatoes pick up less oil and thus make them a little bit crispier. And then finally, just a teaspoon of vinegar. I'm using apple cider, but you can just use white. Give it a nice mixy mix. Potatoes are nice and easy. We're just going to... We have French fries, which are all gonna go into our brine. Just give it a nice little mixy mix with your hand. And now this, nice and easy, in the fridge for about 2 hours, as long as overnight. But for this, it's probably gonna be in for a good 5 or 6 hours. So just put it in there, be patient and leave it. Back to future Sam. I've got an idea as to what's on my shopping list, so let's go shopping. Right, so I've got everything that I need now. A lot of the stuff I did have at home, and I feel like a lot of these are actually pantry staples, so you're already kind of winning there. Because if you've got these things, it's barely going to cost you a dime. I will still work out the rough cost of what we're moving to try and get the most accurate per portion cost as possible. Anyway, I think first things first, I'm gonna make the Big Mac sauce. Now, there's a few things with the Big Mac sauce which I'm not entirely sure of. I will just be kind of making one based kind of from my head, but from memory, I think I've made a Big Mac sauce before, years and years ago. So yeah, let's just kind of
slop everything together.
We're gonna start out with a whole lot of mayo, a little bit of ketchup, not a lot, but a little bit of mustard as well. In goes a little bit of paprika, tiny amount of garlic granules, and a little bit of onion powder as well. In go our dill pickles. I want to put in a little bit of the pickle juice as well, just a little bit, a couple of small teaspoons worth. I'm pretty sure there's a small amount of minced white onion in there as well, so I'm gonna put it through a garlic press, and other than that, pretty sure we've got it all, so we're just gonna mix it all together. Looks like Big Mac sauce to me. All of those ingredients together, because we used such a minuscule amount. Maybe the mayonnaise was the most we used, but I'm calling sort of 30-ish p, maybe 35p for the entirety of the sauce. Tastes like Big Mac sauce to me, actually. Does look rather good though, doesn't it? I was going to do the milkshake next, but I probably should leave that till last just in case it kind of melts and I want it as thick as possible and still nice and ice creamy and stuff. So, I mean, that's going to be a very easy one. It's going to be a little 3-ingredient milkshake and hopefully it will be a little bit better than the actual McDonald's one. He says, knowing full well that McDonald's milkshakes are one of the most elite milkshakes on the planet. But we're gonna get everything prepped first and we're gonna recreate this Big Mac in the exact way the actual Big Mac is. You see me pointing here? You can't see the Big Mac. It is in my line of sight though. Here it is. There's some diced white onion in there, but honestly not loads. So we are literally just going to be finely chopping a very small amount. I mean, let's be honest, that's probably way too much for what's in the actual Big Mac, but that's fine by me. The Big Mac, as we can see, there's not so much on the top. When you get into the bottom half, look, there's a few tiny little bits of onion flecked in there, and then a few more just under here. Iceberg lettuce, realistically, a leaf or so, and I'm just going to, we're just going to grate it down. Because I feel that's the easiest way to get it shredded in the same way McDonald's have it. Or am I being an idiot here? Yeah, that's not doing anything. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Well, that's already 10 times nicer and easier. In terms of garnish, we have 3 pickles on the top and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pickles on the bottom. So we need 8 pickles altogether. Feels like a lot of gherkins for a burger, but what can I do? This next bit to me I think is actually going to be the most interesting. We're going to weigh this patty and I want to see, well, I'm going to make my patties the exact same weight. 32 grams. Obviously they do shrink a little bit, so we're going to try and make them sort of similar size. Cheapest mincemeat you can get right here. This was £3, I reckon. Already that's 64. It might shrink though, so I'm just going to kind of turn it into a patty of around a similar size. You know what? No, I am going to take a little bit out. I want to be as accurate as I possibly can with this. About the same size, right? And our patty, ladies and gentlemen, simple as that. Same size. Earlier, forgot about my cheese singles. 15 for about 80p. And we literally need to use 1. So if my maths is correct, it's just over 5 pence for a cheese single. Nice. Quick milkshake break. Potatoes have been going for about 5-ish hours now, so what you want to do is kind of wash the brine off them. Just want to wash them with a bit of cold water, thoroughly through, just to get the brine off them, and then we're going to pat them dry completely. This whole brining method is how, as I always call it, you get that McDonald's flop. The chips are a bit floppy, but they're still going to go really nice and crisp when we fry them. So I feel like drying potato, it's one of those things you never do too often, but it's a bloody pain when you do. That took way too long, but all my potatoes are nice and floppy and dry now. That's a very weird sentence. I've just kind of thought and had a little look, and I think that these gherkins are way too thick. And so I think 8 is going to be a lot. So I'm actually going to chop these gherkins in half so they're a bit thinner, and we're only going to have 8 of those cut in half. Here's the thing with a Big Mac. I feel like the buns are kind of wasting a little bit of bread because we have to use 3 slices of bread, right? But then that means this poor little top has to just be discarded. I mean, maybe you could use it for like breadcrumbs or something like that. Blitz it up, use it in another meal. It's this side of the bread on both sides in the Big Mac. So because of that, we are going to have to very carefully, and not while I'm holding it like this, but very carefully cut the bit off. I won't lie, that did just take 2 attempts, and I used the top because it was a bit easier. I think it's time for the milkshake, and then we'll put it in the fridge and quickly cook everything because the cooking's only going to take a few minutes. It might be a little bit fresher than this one because I'm going to be using actual strawberries. Now lots of berries these days, and I think wrongly so, are way too expensive, almost like a premium fruit, and I think that's a bit rubbish to be honest with you. But Loads of places have started to do wonky fruit and veg. All of the offcuts which aren't quite as great, and this was less than £1. I'm gonna use maybe a third of the punnet, so it's only like 20, 30p, something like that. And I'm going to do that with some cheap ice cream and a little splash of milk, and that's gonna be our milkshake. That is what I call premium milkshake. And with the milkshake done, just one thing left to do, and that's cook the patties, cook the fries, and then build. These just need a little bit of colour, that's all good. Obviously this one needs flipping. On this side, we have the McDonald's. I've heated it up, of course, just to be fair, just a light heating up. And then we've got our budget version on the left. Let's start with our fries. Fries, obviously, I did them in a nice brine. Potatoes like 24 pence. We used a little bit of sugar, used a little bit of vinegar, we used a little bit of salt. And my estimations, roughly about 50p for these. I think I've genuinely outdone myself. These fried for 5 minutes on quite a high temperature. Salt immediately when they come out, and hands down the greatest fries I think I've ever made. And they've even got that little McDonald's flop to them. Whereas these ones, and this whole meal, £7.19. No colour on them. Compare. Which one would you have? Me, this one. Every time. It was really easy to make. They haven't even salted this, which is a big shame. Strawberry milkshake. Now, as I say, this is elite. It does have a very vibrant pink to it, which this one doesn't have, but it is more fresh strawberries, and this is the beautiful artificial strawberry taste, which to me, I love that artificial strawberry taste. I think it's great. But this one tastes very much like a strawberry milkshake, and a good one. I've managed to get it as thick as the McDonald's ones normally are. It just tastes fresher. Does that mean I prefer it? No. Honestly, I prefer this one. Third of a punnet of strawberries, kind of like 35p or so. I'm rounding up, being generous. Ice cream, we said 25 pence. And then milk, realistically, I said I put sort of 20p in there. So this, by itself, 80p per portion for the milkshake. So that's £1.30 so far for this and this. But then the burgers, the piece de resistance. I do like a Big Mac. Big Macs are good. Let's bottoms up. Strangely, for the amount of sauce in there, it's actually quite dry. Could just be because it's been out for an hour or so. But it's a Big Mac, it's tasty. The gherkins, despite being a load of them, they honestly don't, it's not that in your face of gherkins. This, on the other hand, my creation. I've tried to make it exactly like this one. The lettuce is greener and fresher. The cheese is meltier. The burgers are a bit fatter. I think this could be good. Let's try and get a bite of everything, shall we? Absolutely hands down miles better. All of the ingredients, all of them taste so much fresher. The Big Mac sauce I've replicated actually pretty well. The thickness of the patties, again, despite being same weight, they might be slightly girthier and less width-wise, but honestly they're exceptional. And this is a very, very good burger. There's not too much to say, it's just fresher and tastier and fraction of the price. If you want a drum roll, please. I worked out altogether this burger itself per portion costing roughly £1.75. I'll break down the costings here on the screen as to how much roughly everything would have cost. And now look, I might be out 40, 50, 60p or so, but altogether I have worked out that this meal right here, yes, you're making it at home, but this cost me £3.5 per portion to make. Meaning I can make two and a little bit of these for the £7.19 that this costs. For the extra effort of making it, 10 times better. And I know everything that went into making these. This could become a thing, you know? If there are any other fast food items that you want to see me try and recreate on a budget, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, of course, don't forget to subscribe. I'm just going to sit here and eat this burger while I wait for you to do so. Have you subscribed yet?